Welcome learners. In this video titled Tribes of Kerala Introduction to Major Tribes Part 2, together we shall be able to list the important tribes living in the state of Kerala. It also gives us an opportunity to describe the various features of tribal culture and its varied exuberance. In Part 1, we discussed about Paniyan and Pulaya tribes of Kerala. We shall now continue with other major tribes, namely Muduvan tribe.
Yes, we shall discuss about the Muduvan tribal community.
This community inhabits the border regions of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. The Muduvan are distributed in Idukki district and the adjoining western Ghats of the Palakkad and Thrissur districts. The literal meaning of word Muduvan in Malayalam means those who carry something on their back. Even today, the Muduvan carry their children and belongings on their back. Within family and kins group, they talk in a dialect of their own. With others, they converse in Malayalam or Tamil and use the Malayalam script. The origin of these Muduvan tribal societies has got a significant history behind. As per the observation of many anthropologists of the Indian territory, the Muduvan tribes serve as obedient subjects of the royal dynasty of Madurai. In fact, the popular legend is that when the dynasty was thrown out of power, these existing royal members immigrated to several places of central Kerala and established the famous dynasty of Punjar. While going to Kerala state, the Muduva tribes carried along with them the images of the deity of the regal family, Madurai Meenakshi, at the back of their bodies.
What is also interesting is that the word Muduvan has been taken from the word Muduku, which stands for back in both the Malayalam and Tamil languages.
You are absolutely right. The Muduvan are reported to have 6 clans, Coutums. A woman after marriage retains her Coutum. Her children also belong to her Coutum. They prefer cross-cousin marriages. Marriage by negotiation is the usual mode of acquiring a mate, but marriage by elopement also takes place. The practice of paying a bride price or dowry does not exist among them. A bamboo comb made and presented by the groom to the bride is the marriage symbol, and she wears it throughout her life. Monogamy is the usual form of marriage, but polygyny is also permitted by the permission of first wife if she is barren. Divorce is socially approved on grounds of adultery, cruelty, impotency, and maladjustment. Their families are of nuclear type but live together in clusters of close proximity. A hamlet is called Kudi. Each Kudi has a dormitory for boys and bachelors, Chavadi, and a dormitory for girls and widows called Palpura. Delivery of baby takes place in a separate hut called Tennu Veedu. The women contribute to the family income by participating in economic activities like agricultural operations, animal husbandry, collection of minor forest produce, etc. Boys between the ages of 16 to 20 years have to go through the ritual of tying a turban called Urmal Kettu. For girls, the puberty ritual Talai Sadangu is performed immediately after Menaki. Marriage rituals are performed at the bride's residence or at a public place of the hamlet called Kudi. It is one of the few tribes who have still abstained from developing connections with the people of the outside world. These Muduvan tribes are quite independent and do not rely on the people of the civilized society. These Muduvan tribes are restrained from partaking education, so much so that most of these Muduvan tribes refuse to maintain connection with other tribes. Especially the Muduvan females have to obey the strict rules of the society of not maintaining any relation with the people outside the tribal community, including all the males.
Instances are cited where it has been found that the Muduvan females had to stay aloof and live in an isolated life in the bamboo huts without talking or even seeing men outside the Muduvan tribe.
Agriculture is the main occupation of these Muduvan tribes, producing quite a number of products like ragi, cardamom and lemongrass. They have got 3 to 10 acres of forest lands allotted for farming and other related activities. These Muduvan tribes are being exploited by the mediators. Taking advantage of their simplicity and lack of awareness, these people pay less for various products like cardamom. The most remarkable feature of their agricultural practice is their expertise in locating springs and streams and bringing the water to their cultivable lands. Animal husbandry, wage labor in the forest department, and the collection of seasonal minor forest produce are their subsidiary occupations. Earlier, the Muduvan followed the local tribal religion, but now they profess Hinduism. They worship deities like Karupaswamy and Mariamma. Their material culture includes a variety of bows and arrows, slings and snares. They have access to shrines, public places, wells and other water sources along with them. The Muduvans use both traditional and modern medicines with a preference for the former. Muduvan tribes have remained aloof from outside world and have adopted own techniques of extracting food and medicines.
I hope our learners have understood the salient features of Muduvan tribe, and now let us go ahead with other major tribe, namely Kanikar.
True. They are also known as Kanikaran, but their neighbors refer to them as the Kani. They inhabit the hills of Netinkara and Nedumangadu taluks of Trivandrum district and also live in the adjoining district of Koilon. Kanikar means a hereditary proprietor. They speak in their own dialect, Kanikar Bhasha or Malampashi, which is close to the Dravidian language Malayalam, and use the Malayalam script for writing. They are conversant with the Malayalam language also. The community is divided into two broad divisions, Anandambi Ilakars and Machambi Ilakars. Marriage with cross cousins is allowed. Junior sororate and junior levirate are also permitted. Adult marriage is practiced and mates are acquired through service, elopement and exchange. The symbol of marriage is a bead necklace. The post-marital residence is either neolocal or patrilocal, while the dominant family type is nuclear. Divorce is permitted by social approval. The colony of these Kanikar tribes comprises of huts made from tree leaves and bamboo. It is popularly known as Kani, with an aged man who has been given the responsibility of controlling the tribal community. He is called Kanimupan or Muttukani. Traditionally, the Kanikar were hunters, gatherers and shifting cultivators. Occasionally, fishing, hunting and gathering are still practiced. These Kanikar tribes have the tradition of using herbal medicines in order to heal up their wounds as well as for curing diseases. According to them, these medicines have magical powers and so do not reveal their composition. Nowadays, they have discarded it.
The present day occupation of the community is settled cultivation. Besides, they work as wage laborers in forest department. The Kanikars are expert basket makers.
Next time we visit Kerala, we should explore the craftsmanship of Kanikars involved in the basket making. Most of these Kanikar tribes follow special rites for wedding ceremonies as well as for death ceremonies. They have an oral tradition of songs and tales. They play different percussion instruments. They visit religious shrines and participate in festivals like Onam with all the neighboring communities. Some of these Kanikar tribes too have developed faith on various hill deities. Sacrifice of chicken is done under the trees by the banks of the rivers. The literacy rate in the Kanikars is much higher than any other scheduled tribe in the state. They use both traditional and modern medicines. Their attitude towards family planning program is favorable. Some of them have made use of employment generation programs. Midday meal schemes for children and public distribution facilities are availed of. They continue to depend on moneylenders and shopkeepers during a monetary crisis. Kurumba.
Is it true that the Kurumba are concentrated in the Palakkad district of Kerala?
True. The script used for written communication is Malayalam. As far as the languages are concerned, these Kurumba tribes converse with each other in a language which belongs to the subgroup of the Dravidian family language. This tribal community speaks in a language that is blend of Kannada and Tamil language. The racial group known as Kurumba tribe had close affinity with the Todas and Badagas. The tribal group is recognized in Badaga as Kurumba and Kurb in Toda. The term Kurumba connotes jungle dweller. The Kurumba tribal community is also identified as Alu Kurumbas, Betta Kurumbas, Jenu Kurumbas, Kurumbas, Mudugas, Mulla Kurumbas, Palu Kurumbas, Urali Kurumbas. Several Kurumba tribes are concentrated in the dense forest ranges and also at the bottom of hills. They are said to be the modern representatives of ancient Pallavas. In particular, the Kurumba groups have a clan constitution that has adapted the practice of exogamous and patrilineal. The Kurumba tribes also practice endogamy. Cross-cousin marriages also occur in a frequent basis. For better administration and controlling, these Kurumba tribes have developed several councils. Both the village headman and priest occupy a high place in the Kurumba society. The village headman is called Maniyagara, while the priest is called Manugara. The headman and people who assist him and his officers are hereditary in nature following the lineage of the Kurumba males. However, either a female or a Kurumba man occupies the position of a priest or sorcerer. What is to be noted that all the customary religious beliefs call for an ancestor cult with due emphasis on pollution and purity. All these religious beliefs that these Kurumba tribes follow are similar to most of the norms and customs of other religion like Hinduism in particular. Keeping in par with the trends of modernity, most of these tribes of Kurumba society, especially the youths, embrace other religion as whole like Hinduism and Christianity, apart from observing several traditional beliefs of the Kurumba locales. They profess Hinduism. Pai, the ancestors' spirits, are their clan deities, while Maleshwaran is their village deity. They celebrate Amma Puja, Pai Puja, and Nombi festivals. Just like any other tribal communities of India, these Kurumba tribes too have earned their livelihood by undertaking the occupations like hunting as well as gathering. Some of the people of these Kurumba tribes who resided in the hills adapt to the profession of shifting cultivation and also the jobs of catching tiny birds and animals. Interestingly, Kurumba tribes give a supply of huge poles that are mostly utilized in the funeral rituals of other tribes like Toda tribe. All these Kurumba tribes supply 3 types of baskets used by the Badaga tribes. It is also known that many of the Badaga tribes have appointed people from these Kurumba tribes as watchmen for guarding the village households. In fact, this was a prestigious lifetime appointment that has been passed on from one generation to another. Apart from fulfilling the role of watchman, these Kurumba tribes also undertook the important responsibility of being a priest during their festivals, including sowing and harvest festivals. The Kurumba priest is popularly known as Kanikaran.
Another activity for which these Kurumba tribes have gained acclamation is their art of practicing sorcery.
Thank you for reminding me about the practice of sorcery. Even today, these Kurumba sorceresses have nicely played diverse roles like exorciser, devagara, diviner, kanigara, and sorcerer, odigara or odia. It is said that these Kurumba tribes can cause sickness or even kill enemies with the aid of things like herbs, spells, and roots. In the present Kurumba society, these tribes have adapted to several other professions, all related to the art of sorcery. For example, the therapist Madugara plays the vital role of a doctor and a curer. Pilligara is the wizard who has got the power to even turn himself into an animal. Mat weaving and basketry are their crafts. Folk dances are performed by both men and women. They share sources of drinking water and visit. Religious shrines with other neighboring communities. They use traditional as well as modern systems of medicine and show a favorable attitude towards family planning programs. They have also benefited from various rural employment generation programs. In today's video, we discussed three major tribes, namely Muduvan, Kanikar, and Kurumba. To conclude, this video will help the learners to understand the rich culture and history of different tribes of the Kerala.
We hope our learners are equally excited like us to know more about the major tribes of the state of Kerala.
Thank you.